call the agent on this deal.
Hi, Pace.
Hey, Victoria.
Hi, how'd it go?
Really good. I just coached him along on how to talk to his underwriter to get the deal done. I've never seen a deal not get done after I talked to the loan officer and coach him along with talking to his underwriter.
Perfect.
So it's I guess a possibility that this would be the first time I've ever seen it, but he's like, I just need to talk to my manager, which is always the case, and they always need to talk to their underwriter because that's the person, as you know, who actually makes the decision behind the scenes.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
and the fact that we've done one before should, and this is really good if this is our second one because this is my go-to lender. And he makes things happen that other people can't.
Gotta love that.
He's amazing. He really works hard. So thank you so much.
Of course. So what I told him, just to give you a little bit of back information so you're equipped, is I told him that there's two ways that we go about doing this, and which way we go is dependent upon how simple he wants to keep it for his underwriter's brain.
Okay.
Underwriters don't know what subject to is, and so obviously I'm being very transparent in letting them know, yes, I'm buying it subject to, and yes, I'm taking the deed. And obviously people that are new to the business think that we're trying to hide stuff. We definitely are not trying to hide anything. I'm just blatantly telling people I'm taking over the deed, we're buying the house subject to, we're going through a closing attorney, and I'm making the payments on behalf of the seller whose name is going to stay on the mortgage. Now, for underwriters that are brand new to that concept, I will suggest to the loan officer, let's do a lease option. So what I would do with Robbie, your client, is I would actually purchase his property on a lease option.
Okay.
That doesn't affect your commissions. I'll make sure you'll get paid. But I would do a lease option with Robbie. Why is that sometimes preferred when you're dealing with an underwriter? Now, I prefer not to do lease options. I don't love them, but a lease option is more commonly understood in the real estate realm of like, oh, all right, they have a lease with Robbie, so the tenant, which would be Pace, is making the payments under a lease agreement, and that's very simple and easy for the underwriter to understand. Okay, so we don't have to go through the whole subject to conversation and deed and mortgage in their name. We don't have to even have that conversation if your loan officer doesn't feel he can overcome that with his underwriter. So I said, start out with the lease option, just go to your underwriter and say, hey, Robbie wants to lease out his property and show that his tenant, Pace Morby, is going to be making the payments and covering those payments, and actually a little bit of excess. And what do you need the lease agreement to say to make you feel comfortable removing the payment from Robbie's debt to income ratio, therefore approving him for the new loan?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so what we will do, so typically the underwriter always has a problem with the lease. So we just ask them, like, what do you want the lease to say?
Yeah.
And you've done this so many times where you're just like, okay. Yeah. How many times have your loan officers had you and your buyer have to write some weird letter from their family member to, document where money came from or something,
Exactly. And we just say, what is it that they want us to say? I say the same thing. That's so funny.
Yep. Just tell me what you want me to say. I'll put it in the lease. And so what we will do just so you know, I will do a lease option. The lease will obviously make sure the underwriter's happy. We will execute on that lease option by probably making 2 months of the payments up front for Robbie so that the underwriter can see those payments have been made. They feel comfortable. They then approve his new loan by removing the debt to income ratio. Then in my option agreement, because I'll have a lease with an option to buy, in my option agreement, it just says I can convert my lease to a Subto deal at any point in the future.
Sweet. When I say we, I've never heard you speak of this on our Elephant Challenge. This is really brilliant.
Yeah, the Elephant Challenge, I try and keep it like just cash related conversations. I rarely ever talk about creative finance on the Elephant Challenge, but we'll just do a lease with an option to buy. That will satisfy the underwriter. And then my option fee, the price that I'll give him, I'll buy the option with Robbie. I'll buy the option to buy the house. So this is how it works. Have you ever done a lease option before?
No, I'm typing as fast as I can. This is sweet.
Okay, cool. So lease options are really, really common when these types of things happen. So I'm literally doing 2 documents. One document is called, obviously, the lease, just like any other lease, and I'm renting the property from Robbie. So that lease is what will satisfy his underwriter. And the underwriter a lot of times will say, yeah, as long as you make 2 payments up front. I've seen and had underwriters ask for 3 payments up front to make themselves feel comfortable about releasing the debt to income ratio. So again, we'll ask the underwriter exactly what they want to see. And then we will backfill and write the lease to make that underwriter happy. Cool, got it. Now I will have a second document called an option to purchase. This is why we call it a lease option, okay? So the option states, hey, Robbie, I'm a tenant, but I have the option to convert this lease into a purchase at any point in the future with a locked in guaranteed price with guaranteed terms. And in this awesome lease option world, I have to give Robbie something to purchase that option, okay? I'm buying that document essentially with him, and that, the down payment we were talking about with him and, getting your commissions and all that kind of stuff. The money I would pay to him, that down payment and the commissions to you, would actually be in the form of an option fee to buy the option to purchase this house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, option fee.
Yep.
Oh my God, that is so creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, overcoming the underwriters is the main problem when you're dealing with the lender.
Yeah, I actually have never, so I can tell you I've overcome 400 underwriters in my career.
Wow.
I'm 100%, I'm batting 1,000. I've never had an underwriter we could not overcome. And it's because we always ask them, what do they want? It's like you do. Like, what do you want to see? I'm not going to write the lease until you tell me what you want the lease to say to make you happy, right?
Yeah, because it's just a waste of time.
Right. And then they immediately just say no. I've never had a challenge overcoming it, but I can tell you that out of 400 times I've overcome the underwriter, they have 100% of the time asked for something different than the other underwriters asked for. It could be something like, we want a letter from Pace talking about what he does for a living. It's like, okay, no problem. Or we want proof that Pace has $100,000 in cash sitting in the bank. Like all sorts of, I've seen every weird thing you can imagine, yeah. And it's always, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I know there's always gonna be a curveball. And so I asked your lender, his name's Tim, right?
Yeah.
I said, Tim, go get your underwriter to tell me their weird things they want to see, and Victoria and I will draft up the lease. And I'll have Molly, she's my underwriter.
I love her, yeah.
She's so great. I'll have Molly draft all the paperwork up so you don't have to worry about doing any of that stuff.
Yeah, I was on the phone with Molly and Shelly on Friday, freaking out, going, y'all, is there any way you can connect me to Pace? It's like, I need his help. Yeah.
Well, here we are.
So good. Yeah, I love them. They're just, I went back to my emails and I actually backtracked and I was like, who did I talk to? I said, because, when you're freaking out, you can't think of names. I was like, that's right, Shelly and Molly. Oh my God, they're my girls.
Love it. It sounds like Tim is one of those really awesome unicorn lenders that just figures it out. And so
he is.
He probably has a really good relationship with his underwriter, and he'll just go to the underwriter and say, what do you want this to say? What do you want us to do? And it might take us 24 more hours to figure it out, but I bet you by 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, we'll be under contract and have this all figured out.
Perfect. Yeah, he's amazing. Don loves me. They all support me as far as anything that I want or need as far as marketing. They're just 100% believer of Victoria and has been for 10 years since I've been in real estate. So he's always my number one choice when it comes to lending, because they're just they're out of the box thinkers. They want to know how to overcome anything. And so that's exactly why I'm with him. So we work together. I
love it. Well, good work on your part in finding the right people. A lot of agents don't do what you do, which is like, I'm going to go find a closing attorney that's a figure it out type of person, a lender that's a figure it out type of person. I'm going to have a handful of buyers in my pocket just in case a deal goes wrong. Like, you have made this deal happen, right? Like, hopefully your seller recognizes that and appreciates that. Any other agent in this situation would have just said, sorry, Robbie, this whole thing fell apart. Let's go back to the drawing board. You were like, no, I'm not taking that as my answer. I'm going to freaking figure this thing out.
Got little kids that picked out the rooms and all that stuff. I mean, like, oh my God, they even left furniture for them and stuff they didn't think they were going to get. And it just, no, I'm not going to do that. I have a closing attorney too, just so you know, that I'm partnered with, that is amazing, that she makes things happen, that's local. So if you're looking for someone in North Carolina, she's amazing. She gets all my business because she's just like, she'll figure it out. And she's like, Tim, like, we're all the same. And she believes in Tim too. She knows that he's about the only lender that if he says he can do something, that he'll do it. He'll come through. So she has complete faith in him as well.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, conversation went well with Tim, and he told me he might have his manager reach out to me. I told him I'm available all day for him to make sure this happens, and just shoot me a text message and give me some time to answer the call if I need to jump out of a meeting or whatnot.
Yeah, his name's Don. He's nice too. Okay, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we're going to do some more.
Yes, we will. You're the best. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so I could go on and on about breaking down these types of calls. And by the way, you'll see people in my comments in YouTube, they're so uneducated. And I love it because you take the time to type out how uneducated you are when you don't actually do these transactions. You're watching me do this transaction live. You're watching me do this business live, even though I'm in Orlando touring the hotel for Squat Up Summit. By the way, get your tickets at squatupsummit.com. We're gonna be doing a creative finance summit here in April 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this year. And I'm here, but I'm making deals happen, right? I'm making sure that I'm running my business and I can get on a phone call anytime. So this should be a really good series that we put together all about how to truly solve a seller's problem and how does creative finance solve a seller's problem. A really great, maybe 5, 6, 7-part series of exactly how we solve this seller's situation. And we'll do a follow-up of what is a lease option and how does this solve the seller's problem and how does this help overcome the debt to income ratio. See you in the next one.